Okay, I think I'm on live. Excuse me, I seem to be miscombobulated here. I'm always seem to be running behind time for a particular reason, and I just can't seem to be on time, but I'm here. I believe everything is working just right, so we're going to go ahead with today's program. And today's program is Silence is Key to Our Knowing and Being New. Uh, and the reason why I chose this is because I've been sitting in silence for the last couple of days. And being able to sit in silence allows me to get insight. Now, sometimes that insight is about myself. It could be other individuals who are very close to me, like family members. Sometimes it also can be attributed to just things going on in general in my life. But I want to share this topic with you because I feel it's quite important. And you need to know about silence. Let silence be your friend, so to speak. And so many times we get this opportunity to see ourselves in a completely different light. And sometimes being able to do that is essential to our well being. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to invite uh, people that are more than likely more than likely get this opportunity to feel better about ourselves, to find ourselves in a better position in life, and also find ways to be. Uh, I'm going to use the word this way. Affluent means rich and rich, wealthy, but become more affluent spiritually. Hello there, Golden Timeline. How you doing? So I'm going to also simulcast this at the same time through my Instagram account because for some reason people on Instagram are starting to tune in and they don't often get a chance to do this. So I'm going to put myself in live in a moment. See if I can flip this channel around. There we go. And put this right over here. So, as I was saying, there's this opportunity to allow ourselves to see ourselves differently, to have some kind of brand new experience in life for ourselves. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about silence today, because silence can be quite a healer. Just being able to sit with yourself. And I've noticed, now I'm not, I wasn't perfect at doing this, but I noticed it took me a long time, not just from meditation, but just being able to, let's say, be in my home and be quiet. No radio, no TV, no watching movies, not scrolling through my phone, and which is one of the reasons I got off of TikTok because I was like always scrolling in between. Didn't need that kind of energy. I just needed to break away from it. Kind of get back to the state of mind or the condition when we didn't have so much internet and social media platforms running our lives. So I thought about today's topic. Silence is key to our knowing and being now. Who are we striving to become more of? What we see in the news media, sports, if you have children, I don't have children of my own, but I got nieces and nephews, and some are, you know, um, connected to sports. One or two of them, So I often wonder about that. I often wonder about other people's children, sometimes connected to sports. So they're constantly on the social media platforms checking themselves out. seeing what others may say about them, which is something that you don't want to be able to do. Maybe something you pass along to your children or your grandchildren, nieces, and nephews, not to be overwhelmed or misguided by social media platforms, not to be ruled by those media platforms as well. So it is something that we all need to pay attention to. So I thought about this word silence, which, we connected to the word silent. To be silent, no sound whatsoever. And when we don't have these accommodating sounds of traffic outside, a train station down the block, people around, animals around, when you're not hearing anything outside of your own thoughts that are constantly going on in your mind, sometimes it can be a bit much. Sometimes the din of silence can be loud to you because you really realize you're sitting in a space where there's no other activity going on other than yourself. So I thought about this topic today because sometimes it's necessary to be able to sit by ourselves, with ourselves, and nothing else. Well, I'm Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. Greetings to all of you watching today's program today. I'm gonna not try to be too long-winded, so I didn't even carry out my notes all the way. I did that for a reason. Sometimes when I got too many notes, then I'm going too long of a time. So I wanted people to be able to know that I'm simulcasting the same time through my phone on Instagram, but I'm definitely live on YouTube through my friend's channel for Resident Essentials here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for Resident Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics, which I am one of the practitioners. I teach meditation there every Saturday. So, and meditation is my main thing that I love how to do. And I write about it a lot throughout my other books. Meditation techniques you can be found in my other books. So, one of the things I want people to realize, I've been a spiritual counselor for over 40 plus years. Um, I've been teaching people how to do meditation for since 1974. So for 51 years, I've been teaching people how to utilize meditation in their life and how meditation can cause them to become more productive in their life because it helps you to slow down all the worry and anxieties and frustrate mental frustrations, emotional frustrations that you have going on around you all the time. Now, one of the things for sure is you will not be able to stop your mind. Your brain is always producing thoughts, it's producing everything. And so you won't be able to stop this. So that's the first thing you want to do. Don't worry about, can I quiet this down on my own? It will quiet down on its own. Those thoughts that we have chatting away will fall into the background, and we will not let those thoughts bother us. So let me wave to a few people. Let me first say Golden Timeline 711. You're here with me on Resident Essentials YouTube channel. I'm going to give a wave out here to Workout Rosie and also to Willow Rose 888. Thank you for watching me through this program. I felt that this was something that we all have to kind of listen to. Silence is golden. We hear that cliche all the time. Silence is golden. Sometimes, though, people have a fear of being alone because, after all, I've had some clients for many years, a very dear spiritual daughter of mine, and she was born in another country, but she was, had citizenship rights here in the United States. She became a citizen. I think she has dual citizenship, but she had a fear of being asleep with lights out. She had a fear of darkness. And many times her daughters, she had to go share a sleep with them because she just had a lot of fear going on inside of herself. And sometimes that fear came from outside of herself because there were people trying to put the mojo on her, so to speak, to control how she thought or felt about herself. Well, sometimes we do experience those things, even not only as adults, but young adults and children. Everybody has had a bully in their life. But nowadays, social media can become a bully. People get on platforms and bully other people. Well, the thing about what I'm talking about today is you want to be able to work with silence. That's for sure. One of the means of meditation is to get into a space of internal silence where you're not paying attention to all the chatter that's going on in your mind, all the old thoughts that can come up from the past. Just even thoughts from the other day or thoughts from this morning could definitely bother you because you don't think that you can control your thought processes. Well, it's not so much controlling your thoughts, it's the ability to get into that energetic zone, that brainwave level where the mind is slowing down. What is called beta wavelengths are usually about 14 waves lengths, bandwidth, energy lengths, or higher. So many thoughts are probably being computed out, which means you're wide awake, like I am right now. Sometimes, though, I could go into a zone where my brain waves are much slower. Like, so between 8 and 13, that's more like the alpha wave. And then the theta wave is slower than that, like cut that half in time, like 4 to 7. And then you have what is called theta, or excuse me, delta, which is almost like a comatose state of mind. It's like your deepest state of sleeping. Theta is where you can experience a lot of dreams going on, but going into that delta wavelength with the mind, you could experience euphoria. You can experience what you get like in meditation, but you get that out of body experience feeling, sensation going on with yourself. So sometimes we are we think we have to fight our own thoughts. No, you just let the thoughts continue, and as the thoughts continue, and as you get deeper into that wavelength that is beneath the beta, which is now alpha, that's when you begin to feel a sense of deep resourcefulness for yourself. People say, well, what is alpha? Well, the alpha state, or what has been called the alpha state, is when one's mind is very light. It's the feeling you get when you first are about to wake up in the morning or wake up from a deep sleep. That is alpha. That's when you're still locked into the meditation zone to some extent, and you're locked into a deeper awareness of yourself. Now, researchers do say that things beyond beta, which is called gamma waves, going really rapidly, the mind, you can have breakthroughs on that level too. But in most instances, the brainwave levels are slowing down and they're getting to a point where you could feel a deep awareness with yourself. So, first and foremost, though, you got to get over the fear of being by yourself, sitting with your own thoughts. Many of us, and I always say myself first, when I started learning how to meditate in college, I had a very, very difficult time in getting to know who I am. You know, I was seated out in the woods with a fellow student, and that guy, In fact, I thought he was a student. He really wasn't a student. He was more or less someone who had the bucks to visit this particular college and many other in the area, like Marist College. I went to Bard. So he was always on campus. He wasn't a student, and there were several people like that. He referred to himself as a military brat because his father was in the military. Therefore, he, his father, his mother, and I guess one other sibling were going around to the different bases being stationed. So he was stationed like in Amsterdam, Denmark area. He was stationed in Germany. He was stationed, wherever bases were around the United States that belonged to the USA. But his father taught him how to meditate. Father being in World War II, he was fortunate not having to be in the Vietnam War. So his father taught him how to meditate in when rain is going on, when there's snow going on, when there's extreme heat. And he passed that on to me in the middle of my freshman year. I'll call him Marty or Marcy. And he was able to show me how to overcome external things. Now, here I am in my 70s. I'm 72. I don't go as deep as I should, but there are times when I can zone out. Sometimes I can be in the middle of teaching a class. It can be a little embarrassing, especially on Saturdays. I only got an hour, and I can get real deep where I should be counting the students up out of the deepness. I'm still in the zone. So, you have to be careful of where are in your mind, in your body when you're meditating. But what is silence? How to become silent. And you could do that simply through the way you're breathing. Now, there are many schools of thought. Some of them are tied to yogic schools of thought, where you could inhale to the count of what feels like 8 seconds, hold the breath for 8 seconds, and release it on 12. Now, that's good if you got a nice big lung capacity. Well, I'm a person that has suffered from asthma from time to time, so I can't hold my breath that long. I'll hold it for 4 seconds. Sometimes I can get away with holding it for 6 seconds, but beyond that, it's too much on my lungs. So, my suggestion to many of you when you're practicing meditation is allowing yourself to pay attention to the way you're breathing. The rhythm of your breath is highly important. The way you breathe could put you into a deep state of awareness. You can actually flip out of beta and go into alpha just off of your breathing, the way that you breathe. Now, you see me doing this rocking sensation. That's usually uh, an awareness of my higher self amping up. So here's one of the things I like to do. Because I say I'm a spiritual counselor, I do psychic readings for people for a living as well. And often it's about helping people gain greater clarity in their life at the very moment that they're in, not waiting for the pie in the sky, as Reverend Ike used to say. You don't have to wait to get it after you're out of your body. You should be able to acquire it now while you're in your body. So silence can be experienced while you are sitting alone, not much activity. Now, you can go to a mall and do this if you want. Mall is very active. Sometimes that's very helpful at the same time. Or you can go into a park, where there's a couple of benches, by a playground. You can do it there. There's another way you can be at home. Again, don't have anything going on in the background so that you can get into the habit of what it feels like to sit alone and, of course, acquire silence. And it's important, more so now than at any other time with all the stuff that's going on in the world around us. You might live in an active neighborhood. You might live in a place or an apartment building where there's a lot of activity. You might live in the city. Who knows? Silence should be rendered in your life. You should be able to connect with it and not be afraid to sit in silence. Silence can be effective when we are seeking to be absolutely still inside of ourselves. See, we have to get to a point where we're not worried about anything. We're just wanting to connect with silence, that sense of stillness within ourselves. You want to get to a point where maybe you hear the hum of lights in your apartment, where you can hear the clicking of a furnace or a heater. You can get to that point. You can get to a point where you don't hear any of that. You might think that you have zoned out, but not really. You've actually zoned in. You've tuned in to the vibrations, the energy rolling throughout your home. Silence can be effective not only when you're seeking to be still, but when you're open to receive clear feelings, clear insight, higher wisdom. Higher wisdom, or what we say, higher consciousness. This is something that all people are desiring to achieve, higher consciousness. Silence can become your energetic friend that helps you become clear in the mind and free from worry and anxiety. Example, today's world, as it is right now, if you tune into it way too much, you will pick up what? Worry, anxiety, fear. You'll pick up other people's worries, anxieties, and fear. So it's important to be able to use meditation along with deep breathing to clear your mind, to clear yourself of doubts, anxiety, worry, fear, emotional pain, mental pain, as I call it, remembrance of those things, physical pain. We have to use silence as a medicinal aid for ourselves. When you can use silence as a medicinal aid for yourself, you actually can begin to uplift yourself where you start feeling better about yourself. I was listening to Dr. Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, and one of the things he says too that I definitely agree with is that this mind is a big chatterbox and you can't control it all the time, but you can control your response to it. And that we have a lot of programs going on running through ourselves. Each one of these things I stated earlier, fear is a program, doubt is a program, lack of confidence, lack of self confidence, that's a program. Um, Having too much energy, feeling antsy, on edge, that's a program. So we got all these programs that run through us, and they run through us so many times that we think they are truly a part of us, or we think that's the way that we're supposed to be. And we're not supposed to be that way. Excuse me. So you want to overcome that. Now, along with that is deep breathing. Now, it's not really new, but there's something out there that is called breath work. Well, back in the 80s and the 90s, it was called rebirthing, where a person can take you into a state of mind, almost hypnotic wise, where you begin to breathe deeply. When you are able to, through like a guided meditation, take you back to the time of being in the womb of your mother and breathing. breathing in unison with mother, being, being able to breathe with the earth's energy through your mother, and the environment that your mother was in at the time while she was carrying you. And through these levels of deep breathing, you can trigger a remembrance. Now, you might trigger your mother's fears, your father's fears, your siblings. Siblings might fear you because, hey, they got to give up that thought of having all the attention to themselves. And here you are popping up now. Now they got to think, "Oh, I got a little brother or sister. Now I'm not going to get the attention I was getting. I was first the first child. I got all the attention. Or I'm the second, I'm the middle child. I get attention from mom and dad and the older sibling. But when you're the last one and you're about to come into this world, all the rest of those kids are going, oh my God. Now we got to contend with another mouth at the table. Our meal is being split up one more time. But I say that in a joking manner because even as adults, we think that we're not going to get the attention that we need because a lot of activity going on. Silence helps you receive more wisdom, an expanded version of yourself, as well as an expanded vision. Like we see things in the world around us. Silence helps you to pull all that together so you're not scattered. You're not looking over here, looking over there. It's the same thing as driving a vehicle. You got to stay alert. You got to pay attention to how you're driving, how your body feels in your own vehicle, as well as people outside of you, pedestrians, truckers, other drivers, people on motorcycles. You got to pay attention to all of that. But if you have, to some degree, mastered the feeling of silence, do you know that you could step into your car and not let anything beyond your car become disturbing to you? I'm going to say that again. If you could find that moment of peace or silence, stillness within yourself, and able to maintain some part of it at all times in yourself when you get on the road to drive, doesn't matter if it's a freeway and it's clear traffic, or better yet, bumper to bumper. You're not letting things outside your vehicle, outside yourself, become a disturbance to you. Why? Because you're controlling it. And this is where your breathing comes in, deep breathing, to be able to inhale and just let it out. In fact, if you're tuning in right now and you're home somewhere, I want you to consider this, or maybe you're taking a break at work. I want you to just inhale through the nose and let it out through the mouth. So while I'm talking, and I could be a talker too, uh, practice that for at least for about a minute and a half or a minute. Inhaling through the nose, releasing the breath through the mouth. And as you allow yourself to do that, take note of how you're feeling. That's important. Take note of what you are feeling. What is it that you are feeling about yourself? What is it that you're feeling about your surroundings, your immediate surroundings? What else are you feeling about yourself beyond where you are seated right now, beyond the room in your home, beyond the room of your office, beyond the space of your car? Maybe you're watching this through your phone and you're seated in your car. Just pay attention because that's important. When you get into a state of silence or stillness from within, you actually begin to see and hear and sense things very clearly. You kind of know the difference between what your energy field feels like and something beyond that, and where others may pop up in there as well. because people are constantly sending thoughts back and forth to each other. If you got children, you and your children are sending thoughts back and forth to each other. Let me take a moment and acknowledge. Now, I know that Golden Timeline 711 is in here. I know that Indigo Moon is here. I know that there's a possibility of Barbara Ewing being here, Samara Woods being. These are the people I'm calling out names here on the YouTube channel. But I also want to acknowledge Will Talk Entertainment here on Instagram, Deborah R. 564 here. You can, those of you that are here on Instagram, if you want, you can invite other people. DJM0477 is on here as well. Willow Rose 888 is here. And the first one that popped in was Workout Rosie. Thank you for joining me on today's program. Put your comments in if you'd like. I'll try to answer them either way. Holly Hermit. Holly Hermit is probably here as well in YouTube. Probably Jackie Fillmore and Linda Garcia and maybe Melanie Hall. Melanie is a good friend. She is tuning. If she's here in the YouTube channel, she's watching all the way from Australia. So anyway, this thing called silence, it should become our friend. Learn how to dance with silence. Because if you can learn how to dance with silence, you will be able to control lots of things that are happening around you so that you're not reacting to them. Or you're not, if you have to react, or you find yourself reacting to certain things outside yourself that are uncomfortable, you can react in a different way. I'll say that again. Example I should give. People who grew up in New York City. I know Will Talk and Entertainment did. I grew up around New York City. I had cousins that lived in Queens and Brooklyn and going up through Manhattan and the upper Westchester County. You had to ride subways all the time to visit some of my friends or family members. Well, once I was in college and would be home for the summer, I would stay up there for Thanksgiving and spring break. I never really liked coming home too much. I had ways of having food up there. So, during the summertime, being home or coming home for winter field periods for Christmas and New Year's, being on the subway was a good challenge. Being on the Long Island Railroad was a good challenge. Why? Because there's activity. So I could take my meditation into that environment and create a sense of wellness and peace and harmony through the state of sitting in silence. Now, I didn't have any headsets on. I wasn't listening to music. I wasn't listening to subliminal tapes. But I learned how to count myself into a zone where everything around me got quieter. When I started to using creative visualization techniques with myself, I would focus on seeing a place that was absolutely quiet. In fact, I would see the train car or the subway car quiet, even though it was very active and people talking. Because yeah, it's New York City. People got to talk. It's okay. But in my mind, I would see the people quiet. In my mind, I would project the people around me talking in sign language to each other. And I would feel absolute peace, harmony, and happiness. So much so that when I was doing it on a regular basis, I noticed I was in the same environment with the same people at the same time, boarding the same train. So then I realized, okay, this is working. Now let's see, I can take the energy that's there and create greater silence. And I found myself doing that, creating greater silence for myself, not letting anything disturb me in any kind of way. So even you feel people get on the train acting out, sometimes being a little loud, wasn't letting it bother me because I was tuned in inside where I could be quiet. Here's one of the things too that I mentioned here, because you want to see an expanded vision and you want to experience a better version of yourself, which is also a newer version of yourself. So you would find yourself creating within this environment or co creating in whatever your current environment is. And while you were doing so, you were arriving at a state of mind where nothing was bothering you. You were capturing, molding stillness of the mind. You can do that. The more you practice being still, the better the opportunity to create a feeling of stillness. Do you know when you're outside and it's very cold outside, the more you tense up, more restriction you create. You cut off things like you can't breathe as well, you can't relax as well. Why? Because you're shutting off the blood vessels. It's like bending a water hose, putting a kink in it, nothing's coming through. Water's trickling out the other side, but it's not flowing. So if you taught yourself when you're outside when it's very cold and you taught yourself to relax, to create an image in your mind where 35 degrees outside feels like 53 degrees outside or 63 degrees outside. So you start seeing an image in your mind where your coat is opened up, where your scarf is not tight on your neck, where you don't have gloves. You see within your mind's eye, taking off the gloves, loosening up the scarf, opening up the button collar toward the top or the zipper, pulling it down. But what you were doing was you were practicing or restructuring or teaching your body not to respond to the cold. And when you do that, the body warms up. What comes to the surface in the blood is more chi. Golden Timeline says it like this here on the Resonant Essentials platform for YouTube. She says, yes, a stress slash tense state blocks your energy flow and blocks your blessings. So that means when you're tense like this all the time, things that you are trying to attract towards you that you feel is the blessings, they get halted. They get stopped in their tracks because they can't come in to your auric field. There was something I was also reading or heard. I think it was Dr. Joseph Dispenza says this. He says that the heart can radiate 6 to 15 feet all the way around itself. It can radiate that much energy. So if your heart can do that, and you could practice this, I can tell you it works. I'll tell you to another way. Go to a place that's crowded, especially like an eatery, like a fast food place or a food court if you want, and set the vibration around yourself, complete circle, where there's absolute quiet and stillness. And if you get it just right for yourself, no one will sit in a table next to you, front, back, right, or left. No one will sit. Now, here's the interesting factor is little babies and children, fours and fives, sixes, seven, or eight, they might sense the energy that you're putting out, but their parents won't because they're in that field of block. Tense, stay on alert, gotta watch everything. But their children could feel that vibe and want to be around you. Why? Because they could feel you radiate joy, peace, harmony, happiness, unconditional love, and grace. They could feel that on whatever level that they're supposed to feel it. And everyone starts receiving it. You could sit in an area. I used to take, when I was in my 30s, when I used to practice a lot of Tai Chi back then. I don't do it as much now, but I do it in my mind a little bit. We would sit in a mall together, and we would all pick a direction, and we would pay attention, north, south, east, or west, or the corners. Anyway, we would stand guard mentally, and we would project a flow of energy from ourselves into that line of energy where things are more peaceful, things are quieter. And once we got it just right for ourselves, we could sit in the mall and people would not sit on top of us, which some people will do at times. Some people can feel the energy and want to disrupt the energy, but it's hard to disrupt energy that's super peaceful. If a person is not into having peace for themselves, they can't disrupt an area where peace is. And so, this is something I want to share with you, that when you could reach a state of internal silence or stillness with yourself, create stillness with yourself. Create the energy in such a way where you're not overreacting or just reacting. You're just staying in the center of yourself. Once you could do that, then peace is yours. Once you could sit in the element where nothing is disturbing you, even if somebody comes by and pops a balloon, you might jump a little bit, but you still will pull back and go into that source, that internal source where you're quiet in the mind. Yeah, you got thoughts going on, but they're not running amok. You're not responding with your emotions so that you're just all over the place with your thoughts or with your feelings. You're not trying to act on anything. You're just trying to stay centered. Staying centered is more important than acting out, to reaching out to see what's going on. So I say this to you to practice a sense of resilience with yourself. Practice sitting in silence for yourself, just being still. When you can be still, all is well. When you can be still, all is well. Like right now, there's people outside in the hallway. I'm aware that they're there, but I'm not letting their excitement disturb me. Because to me, it's all loving energy. Because that's what I'm radiating beyond my walls. It's unconditional love. That's what I choose to put out in the world, unconditional love, and eventually they quiet down. And if I was to go out right now, they would have a big smile on their face, waiting to exchange that positive energy. So you want to be able to sit in stillness, silence with yourself. And it's okay when you are alone, because what you learn later is that the heart is controlling the environment, which then controls your thought processes, and everything begins to slow down. If you have high blood pressure, it's going to come down. If you got low blood pressure, it's going to rise up just enough, but it's going to stay settled inside the body. So let me give you a basic exercise. I want you to just close your eyes if you can. And I want you to inhale through the nose and release through the mouth. I don't even want you to hold the breath at the top of the inhalation nor the base. I just want you to breathe. And while you're busy breathing in this format, what I want you to do when you are ready, I want you to mentally state to yourself, I am peace. Just state that to yourself. I am peace. I am peace. What you will notice is when you're projecting the words I am to yourself, you're thinking about it, you're inhaling it, bringing it into yourself. And when you say it out loud, peace, it leaves you. It starts to open up fields of energy. Now, I want you to just allow that space to rhythmically be what it is, peace. To the right and left of you, I want you to feel the presence of unconditional love, as if someone is reaching out to embrace you. I am unconditional love. I am unconditional love. Now, to the right and to the left of you, that's what you're thinking. That's what you're putting out. And this is the coolest thing about it. You are expecting yourself to become peace, to become happy with yourself, with who you are, to become quieter. When you can become quieter, you know that all is well with you. So I also want you to feel not only just peace, harmony, and happiness, but I want you to feel that this is well for you to do. This is the state of your wellness, your internal wellness and your external wellness. It's about being in a state of peace, harmony, and happiness because it's you. You're the one that's releasing it and making it happen. You're creating it so that this happens, that you are in a state of peace, harmony, and happiness with yourself. And you feel a sense of not just greater awareness and sensitivity, you just know this is your truth. This is the truth of who you are. And you don't mind. You don't mind that you're in peace and you are in harmony and you have joy and happiness. You just know that you feel whole and complete. So I want you to embrace your wellness for yourself as whole and complete. That joy is emanating through you and from you, and happiness is doing it, and you just feel happy, good, and well about yourself. You just feel like bubbling joy with yourself. And I want you to place that awareness in the center of your sternum, in the middle of your chest. I want you to feel and know that the heart is there. The physical heart is right behind the sternum. And I want you to know and understand that no matter what is happening outside your place, inside your place is supreme peace, harmony, and happiness. Inside your place, where you reside, you feel total wellness. Here in this moment, you feel total stillness beginning to pour itself over you. And everything is doing the same. Everything around you is replicating peace, harmony, happiness, joy, compassion, grace, whatever you want. That's what it's doing right now. And I want to thank all of you for tuning into today's short program. Silence is key to our knowing and being now. What that means is being in this moment, you can create peace, harmony, and happiness, anything you want. But you want it to bring you what? Wholeness and completeness, not jumping all over the place. Because when you can sit in stillness and in the silence within, you can see clearly what's going on outside yourself. You can feel clearly what's going on outside yourself. And you can create better you outside of yourself, better harmony outside of yourself. Yes, Golden Timeline 711 has stated it. All there is and ever was is the present moment. And all teachers in the world, all metaphysical, spiritual teachers, if you're someone attending an occult school or whatever, it's the same thing. Reason why things work, while prayer, they say, changes things, because you're in the present moment saying the prayer. You're in the present moment receiving the prayer. You're in the present moment expecting the prayer to be what it is. You're not controlling anything or anyone outside of yourself. You're just co creating a higher form of energy, and you can sense and feel it at will. Thank you for joining me today. It was Thursday, January 30th. 2025. If you want to be in touch with further questions, replay this on Instagram or here on Resident Essentials YouTube channel. Just email me at iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com. That's iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com. And I'll answer your questions within about 24 hours or less, depending on where I'm at the time when I receive them. Again, I want to thank you for joining me. I send hearts out to you and butterflies out to Willow Rose 888, Will Talk uh, Entertainment. Thank you. And everybody that's on here on YouTube, Golden Timeline 711, Indigo Moon, I know is here, Linda Garcia, Jackie Fillmore, Antoine, Barbara Ewing, which is Island Paradise. Thank you. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Holly Hemmett and Samaria Woods. And who else I sent this out to? Hmm, I got to think now. Lauren White, thank you for being here. And over here on Instagram, thank you, Will Talk Entertainment, Deborah R564, DJM0477, also Workout Rosie. Thank you for joining me today. Um, I don't always put all of my uh, live Instagrams up, but I figure, hey, why not? Let people, you may not, connect with me at the time on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, but I want you to be aware of it. So I'm going to sign off. Everybody that's here on Instagram, have a great rest of your day and a fabulous weekend, okay? And I'll see you all soon. And everybody here, all my friends. I knew they was in here. Okay, Tamala Moore. Okay. Well, just be at peace. That's what we're looking for. I'm looking for peace with myself and wherever I can be at this very moment. So, everyone, make sure you have a great day. Make sure that what you're doing fits you well. I got to get this out to family members. So, as you are out and about, being who you need to be, know that all should be well for yourself. They got so many family members on this thing. So, what I want you to know that all shall be well for yourself, and know that there is an opportunity to be at peace with yourself. Know that there's always an opportunity to graduate into higher vibrations and also be able to be able to I'm going to say it this way, court a new vibration for yourself. So what you want to do is just be resilient for yourself. And on that note, I'm going to say have a pleasant day, and I hope to be back here again next week. All right. Be well, everybody. And thank you. All right.